Show me.
I'm the martial arts film freak, and I watched Gundala.
Saya harus kasih contoh.
Gundala is a 2019 martial arts superhero film from Indonesia. It was directed by Joko Anwar and stars a lot of people whose names I'm about to try to pronounce, and it's probably not going to go very well. You've got Abimana Aryasatya, Tara Basro, Bront Parare, yep, that guy, a whole lot of other people, and then something that made me very happy, you've got Hannah Al-Rashid and Chechep Rahman. If you don't know those two, one was in The Night Comes For Us, and the other was in John Wick 3 and The Raid 2, and they're both fantastic. Gundala follows Sanchaka, who is an orphan, now grown man, who pretty much just, his whole life he's afraid of thunder because he feels like thunder is after him, and it turns out it is, because he has some sort of ability where when he gets struck by lightning, he is almost invincible. He is super strong. He can control electricity, of course, and you put all that into his silat and martial arts abilities, and you've got one bad motherfucker. I say he's almost invincible. He can take a lot of really heavy hits. He gets hit with, all sorts of blunt objects and fists and kicks, and he doesn't feel it. And he gets stabbed a couple times, in which he just seems to heal, not immediately, but pretty damn quickly. There is a lot going on in the story. The story at times felt repetitive in that you get probably 3 or 4 examples of, I guess, a group of working class people protesting for, sort of better working conditions and stuff like that. And that the reason it felt repetitive is because you get it in sort of the A plot, you get it in this backstory of another character, and then you get it in the B plot, and it's all completely different circumstances, different people, and it's like, okay, that's a lot of protests. It's just in one country, in one part of town. It just felt like a lot. It's not necessary for that many of the same occurrences to happen. And then while Gundala, Sanchaka, is training and getting his abilities, which takes quite a bit of time, we spend a lot of time with him. Probably the first 30 minutes is him as a child, sort of losing both of his parents and becoming an orphan and training in silat to defend himself on the streets from the other kids, who are probably the worst children I've ever seen. And I've seen Stephen King movies where children are the devil. These kids are worse than the devil. But while we get his training, we get a bunch of politics, and sort of with the politics you get the villain and his whole plan, which was kind of goofy and dumb. I mean, it makes sense in the end, but you really had to wait for it, because for a while you're just like, okay, the politics is kind of boring and the plan is kind of dumb, but in the end there's sort of a payoff. I'm being harsh on that point. I did actually enjoy it by the end. It just took a while to get there because it was just so goofy and dumb, and the politics are boring. I enjoy all the characters. Sanchaka and all of the protagonists surrounding him were all really fun characters to be around. I enjoyed all their relationships, and while I do find the villain's plan to be really goofy, I genuinely thought the idea of the villain was just genuinely a really cool idea. I liked the concept for how this bad guy came to power, and how his lackeys and henchmen just treat him like a god, and I enjoyed the reason they treat him like a god. I just thought the whole idea of the villain was a really interesting idea. The action in the movie is really good. It is really definitely worth checking the movie out for. My only problem is the movie. I don't feel like the action ever really decides to actually just take that extra step. The choreography, the fight scenes, sometimes the use of the power is really fun and really cool. It feels like it could take that extra step, not in brutality, but just you never get that one big fight scene or big hit that really steals the show. You get really cool fight scenes, they never go that extra mile that it feels they need to. And I enjoyed the incorporation of his abilities into the fight scenes, especially in the beginning, or not the beginning, 45 minutes in when he's really starting to figure out his powers. He's in this big brawl with a bunch of people and it's him against like 12 guys. And while he's punching, he suddenly just starts like shooting out electricity. And when he notices that he's shooting electricity, he stops punching and he just starts just going like that, trying to shoot more electricity. And at that point, nothing's coming out because he's actually trying to do it. It's a funny scene. I liked it. Cool fight scene. Get a funny moment in there. Cool. Good. Thank you. And the special effects even were actually really well done. There's a whole lot of thunder, a whole lot of Thor stuff going on. This is not like a copycat of Spider-Man and Thor. This is a comic that pre-exists. This comic already existed in Indonesia and maybe a few other countries, but this is a pre-existing comic book. This is not, they just decided to come up with a superhero, like some people would probably think if they saw this on the shelf at Walmart. But they really did put a lot into the special effects, which was really appreciated, because while the action and stuff could be cool, the minute you get hit with some shitty looking lightning, the minute your movie becomes a bit of a comedy. And this movie never goes there. So good for it. Good. Thank you. I'm going to say thank you to this movie a lot. I enjoyed myself. There were a few times with his powers that didn't quite make sense for him to do certain things, especially in the very end. He has this big plan and he does it, and there's no reason for him to try what he does. He does this huge thing, affects everybody, and there is no precedent for him to believe that he had that ability. I wish I could spoil it, but I can't. He does this one final thing that I'm like, there's no reason at all that you thought you could do that. You just did it. And the movie could have written some reason. The movie could have written in some example of him accidentally doing something similar, so he wants to try it again on purpose now. He doesn't. He just does it in the end. And I thought it was really out of left field, and it sort of took me out of it a little bit, because it's just random. He didn't know he could do that. There's no reason he should think he could do that. But he does it, so he can do that now. Yep. This movie also does a lot to build the larger world of Gundala, which I guess is fine if it is setting up for sequels, which it 100% is. This is definitely trying to be some sort of franchise series of films, which is appreciated, I guess. It doesn't hit you over the head with the larger world of Gundala, which is great. Don't do that. Lay in some stuff, maybe drop one big thing at the very end, which this movie sort of does, and that's fine. Just don't shove it in my face. Just lay things out. Lay out little breadcrumbs of a larger world, which was really appreciated, really great stuff. I do wish that Chechep Raman and Hannah, the name I said earlier, were in the movie more, they're great. It's great to just see them and get a little bit of their action, especially Chechep, because Chechep is... have you seen The Raid 2? Man's amazing. In the end, cool characters, great villain. I mean, I don't know why. I just love that whole idea for the villain. Protagonist, the hero, is really cool, great fight scenes, nothing crazy over the top, nothing that's really going to make you say wow, but a cool incorporation of powers and abilities into the action. The Silat, all the martial arts choreography was all fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed myself. I am going to give this movie about, let me say, 4 Silat orphans out of 5. I enjoyed this movie quite a bit. It's not great. It's not super outstanding, but it is a fun martial arts superhero film. I definitely recommend checking it out at least once. Tell me what you thought of Gundala in the comment section down below. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to Facebook, where you can like and follow Martial Arts Film Freak. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.